Boris Schlossberg, Managing Director at BK Asset Management.
BK Asset Management's Kathy Lien.
Hello, everyone. All right, hello, everyone. I'm doing sound check. If you can hear me, see me, give me a thumbs up. Let me know everything is working. Let me move this to my main screen so I can see you as well. Hi, Bob. Hi, Justine, Mohammed, Putra. Thank you so much. I am so excited to get started. Tell you, I should look a little bit crazy because the day has moved on and I've been very busy. But hello from Mexico. If you're joining us for the first time, this is our Thunder Rock Thunder Rock. You know, fundamentals matter. We're not just going to be talking about currency today. We're going to talk about indices, gold. Everything is going to move on today's big Fed decision. We will get started in just a few minutes. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I don't know. Maybe you have to get a copyright of the song. I don't know if you're. I'm not smart enough to know whether you can copyright AI music. Boris created this. maybe he'll look into it, but I absolutely love it. Okay, hello, Lynn Aquino, Peter, Medium from Nigeria. All right, yes. We are going to rock and roll. Turn off. All right, the music was just for fun. You know, I'm obviously not going to have it playing while I'm talking. It's distracting me, it's distracting you, but it's fun to get into the groove because all of you are here because you know that fundamentals matter. You know that funda rocks the markets. And today, the markets are going to be rocked, maybe, crossing my fingers, by what comes out of the Federal Reserve meeting. Now, there's a lot that is already baked into the markets. We'll talk about that. And especially when it's already baked into markets, we'll talk about where the surprise is, where the opportunities are. I know many of you are trading gold indices. Some of you are trading Forex. It's going to affect absolutely everything. And if you have joined any of our sessions before, you will know that the markets reward the prepared. This is my new logo. I got to get some sort of AI design on it because I want to have a flash that goes across that says markets reward the prepared. So what's going to happen today? Well, first off, I'm going to lay the groundwork for you and talk about what is expected for the FOMC, where the surprises lie, because we want to be able to look for them immediately. Boris is going to join us. Then we're going to, right around 2 o'clock, we're going to roll into the live trading session. As you know or may not know, and it's perfectly fine, the Fed rate decision is split into 2 segments today. We've got the 2 o'clock rate decision. We got the 2:30 press conference by Fed Chairman Powell. So we've got 2 opportunities for movements. Now, the real trade of the day will come after Fed Chairman Powell delivers his press conference and the initial questions by the press are asked. And we'll talk about how to set up for that. So there's a lot going on, and every single market that we're trading is going to be affected. There's absolutely no signal I'm giving you, Liso, because anything can go, right? It's ahead of these big events. We do not trade proactively. Now, speaking of signals, some of you may have joined me on Monday where we talked about how, let me share with my screen with you. Give me 1 second. We talked about how we've got 3 big events today. Bank of Canada, Federal Reserve, Bank of Japan. Bank of Canada happened already. Now we're going to Federal Reserve and then later on to the Bank of Japan. But the reason why I bring this up is that we said that the markets reward the prepared. And on Monday, I talked about how the Bank of Canada rate cut could be their last. I mean, who remembers this? If you remember this, give me a thumbs up that you remember that I said that the Bank of Canada, even if they cut interest rates, this could be their last interest rate cut. So let's take a look. 9:45 rate decision, 10:30 press conference. This is dollar CAD. Let's get rid of all this mumbo jumbo I have on my charts. And basically, 9:45, right around here, is when the Bank of Canada cuts interest rates by 25 basis points. You would think 25 basis point rate cut, an interest rate cut, period, should lead to the currency falling. But guess what? Instead of falling, the currency actually rallied. The Canadian dollar rallied against the US dollar. And once again, you know, markets, where's this? My motto, markets reward the prepared. If you came Monday, you were prepared for this move. You were prepared to sell dollar CAD and not buy it, because even if they cut interest rates, this is very much expected to be their last interest rate cut, which is exactly what they said during the press conference. So, you know, today we're here to prepare for FOMC, for the Fed interest rate decision, because hopefully, you know, I don't have a crystal ball, but it's usually true. The markets reward the prepared, and we need to be prepared for what is expected for this interest rate decision. Now, I am sure every single one of you in this room know that the Fed is expected to cut interest rates by 25 basis points. There is no surprise in that question. Now, of course, if they don't do that, that is obviously a huge surprise. If suddenly the Fed does not cut interest rates by 25 basis points, they hold interest rates steady, we can expect huge moves in the market. But of course, that's 99.9, 101% chance it's not going to happen. The other scenario is the 50 basis point rate cut. That is also not going to happen because we don't have a lot of data, and it seems like the U.S. and China are going to announce a big trade agreement or a trade tariff delay at the end of the week. So things have not gotten worse on that front. So a 50 basis point rate cut is going to happen either. So in terms of the interest rate decision at 2 o'clock, that's a given. But that does not mean that we won't have movement. We won't have movement. And the reason is because there's two other things that the market is looking for aside from how much, well, now let's say three. There are three things that the market is looking for aside from how much the Federal Reserve is going to cut interest rates. The first thing is the most obvious, which is guidance. The most obvious is, what is Powell going to say? Is he going to commit to further interest rate cuts? Is he going to sound non-committal? We won't know that until 2:30. So we'll talk about 2:30 in a minute. But first, 2 o'clock, what else will we know? At 2 o'clock, we get the FOMC statement. So it's going to be all over the media. We're going to get the FOMC statement. This is one of those rate decisions. You can see October, we do not have an asterisk. We don't have an asterisk. What is the asterisk? The asterisk is when we have the economic projections being released. So the asterisk is when we have the dot plot, which is very important. So coming to December, it's going to be really exciting. We're going to talk about the dot plot. We're going to talk about the economic projections. We're going to talk about all the great opportunities we have off of that. But we don't have that today. We don't have this projection material. What we will have is a statement. And the last statement, I want to point this out to you. The one line that you and I will be looking for or the one section is going to be the last section down here. And in fact, it's probably going to be the last sentence. So back in September, you all will remember the Federal Reserve delivered its very first interest rate cut. But even though they delivered the very first interest rate cut, there was one person dissenting. That was Stephen Miran. Stephen Miran is the Trump nominee. He was the Trump nominee for the Fed post, and he opted for the bigger 50 basis point move. So as we go into this rate decision, at 2 o'clock, one of the biggest questions we will ask ourselves, or we'll look for an answer to, is it just going to be Miran who votes for a 50 basis point cut? Or will Michelle Baumann, who is on the short list to replace Powell, going to also vote for 50 basis points? The more that vote for 50 basis points, and we could still get only 25 because the majority voted for 25, the more dovish it's going to be from the Fed. So if we get two, if we get one, it's the same. If we get two, it's more dovish. 3, it's very dovish. 4, it's like a really very bad scenario for the US dollar. If none, which I don't think is likely, vote in favor of 50 basis points, I think Miran's going to stick with his 50 basis point vote. But if none vote for 50 basis points, then that could be something that is positive for the dollar. But we're just talking about the dollar right now, but we also are interested in how could it impact the other markets. So, we are looking at opportunities in gold, NASDAQ, and the US dollar. So we're looking for, the vote. At 2 o'clock, we're going to look for number one. We're going to put it right here. Size of cut. Size of rate cut. But this is pretty much a given. Number of dissenters. And, maybe some changes in the FOMC statement, but I don't think it's going to be a very big deal. And then at 2:30, that's when we're going to look for the guidance. So how do we trade? What are the potential trading opportunities for this? Now, if we have, I was going to quiz you and have you give me the answer, but we're like 3 minutes to the Fed rate decision, so we don't have time. All right. If we get dovish, what does dovish mean? Dovish means, 2 dissenters or a bigger move. That is going to be positive for stocks, positive for gold, and negative for the US dollar. If we get less dovish, or another way to say it is hawkish. It's not really hawkish, but it's hawkish in our view. That means that we have 0 dissenters. So let's just say 2 dissenters for 50 basis points. Because suddenly we could have, maybe someone will vote for unchanged. You never know. Someone could vote for unchanged. If someone votes for unchanged, that could be, less dovish. That will be negative for MNQ, the stocks that we're trading. It's going to be negative for gold, and it's going to be positive for the US dollar. So these are the things that we're going to be looking for. Now, for my friends who are trading currency specifically, what kind of dollar trades can we have? Well, I'm not on dollar yen right now, but we'll take a look at, first off, dollar yen is getting really kind of petering out. Today, it didn't really have too much of a move. Whereas I want to keep on my notes. So if we get a dovish outcome, I think what the best opportunity, dollar yen looks like it really wants to fade. I think selling dollar yen or buying euro dollar is probably one of the most interesting opportunities. If we get less dovish, meaning that it's pro dollar, dollar Swiss has been holding on okay today. And then also, I think dollar Swiss is probably one of the more interesting trades. Up here, you could probably also have minus dollar CAD because of the Bank of Canada rate decision. So these are the different trading opportunities for today. I did put up the Federal Reserve website. All right, we are about 30 seconds away. We will see it in the price action before we see it in the charts. I think Boris 145. You're here 2 o'clock. You're here with us.
I'm here with you guys.
Okay, let's see if we see it in the price action first before we see it in the news.
All right.
We could have no movement. Boris is thinking we're not going to have any type of movement, which would be the case if we only have one dissenter, the same thing as last time. But these are this is where the surprise could lie.
Yes, sometimes it comes out about a minute late. Sometimes they're a little bit fed.
Yeah. So looks like the dollar's rallying. Looks like let's see. We got any headlines? I see dollar going all over the place. NASDAQ moving a little bit. I haven't seen any headlines yet on this. Yep. I mean, yes, of course. They of course they cut interest rates by 25 basis points. But what we're looking for is, let's see if they publish this on their website. Let's go to the website.
Yeah, for 25 basis points. Yes.
Yeah. That's anticipated. We don't have. They didn't publish it on the website yet. They also were talking about quantitative tightening. It says it will stop the balance sheet. Mirren, okay, here. Ooh, look at this. I'm going to move my headlines over here. The reason why the market's all over the place is because we had dissent in both direction. Right here, Joe Wiesenthal, where'd he go? Fed cuts interest rates. Mirren dissented for half a point cut, and Schmid favored 0 change. Hawkish dissent. I'm going to repost this. But that is the real, that's, first of all, that's why the dollar popped initially, because they saw, Mirren, obviously, Trump nominee was going to vote for no changes, going to vote for 50 basis point rate cut. But now, instead of having Bauman move over and vote for 50 basis points, we have one additional member voting in favor of no change. So this is a pretty big deal. So this is kind of dollar positive, because no one expected a hawkish descent, in my opinion. And then for the stock market, it could sap a little bit of the rally in stocks, but we aren't seeing a huge move because the market is still waiting for Powell. But ultimately, all of this seems to be, a little bit bearish for stocks, a little bit. Gold is not doing anything. It's like back and forth. So, we're going to have to see. Whenever we trade news, it's best to wait to see the market, kind of figure out what it wants to do. But taking a look at the FOMC statement, if we look at the details, let's see what else we got here. Inflation has moved up since earlier this year. That's not dovish. Attentive to both sides. What else we got? They cut interest rates, dissented, no change. I think that this is slightly less dovish. and I think it's short. It's like, I think selling dollar yen seems to be moving lower. So it's less dovish. Let's see. Growth moderated in the first half of the year, has been expanding at a moderate pace. Inflation low through August. Inflation is consistent with these indicators, rose. I mean, none of this is overly
I was taking
dollar.
case analysis and shorting gold right now, and that was very good analysis because gold was a great scalp. I think she's reading it right. Gold spiked really, really strongly, and now retracing that whole spike, I was literally able to catch the top when Kay said that she thought it was dollar hawkish, which is obviously bad for gold, and it was a great short. So
and dollar Swiss is much better looking than dollar yen, because dollar yen was struggling a bit. So I think short euro dollar was the game plan, and buy dollar Swiss for small moves, because what ends up happening is that we probably will get some movement in the next 5 minutes. Then it's going to be consolidation until we hear from Powell. And then it's going to be after the first 15 minutes, like 2:45, is when we're going to have the real durable push for the day. But I do feel like right now, reading the initial FOMC statements, the changes, the details, where's my everything there, it's definitely not as dovish as we anticipated. And there was a surprise. The surprise came, I'm trying to find my here. The surprise came in the form of the only surprise came in the form of one member preferring for no change instead of an interest rate cut. So the dissent is really what was key. And I wanted to prepare all of you for that.
So what do you think that is, Kit? I have a theory, but I'm wondering what you think about it. Like what I generally, am very much out there because I think the Fed may, if not done cutting, is certainly going to really put the brakes on cutting. And I think he's going to come out today saying it's really going to be wait and see. We're not committing to any cuts down the road. Why do you think today was sort of a hawkish read on everything?
Well, Schmidt is Schmidt, spoke a couple weeks ago, and he is of the opinion that inflation is too high and that monetary policy should be focused on demand growth. And he, given that the last retail sales report on Monday, we also showed this table here. We talked about retail sales. The last retail sales report, which of course is slightly dated because we don't have more recent data, the last retail sales report was good as well. So given that Schmidt voted for no change, 3 weeks ago, he said inflation is too high. And, he said demand is still kind of strong, which, those are his reasoning.
Yeah, and I think that makes a lot of sense because I think you have to be completely blind to look at the underlying strength of the U.S. economy. You can, give me 1,000 excuses that it's all AI spend, that, it's inflated, that it's vendor financing. It really doesn't matter because the bottom line is more people have more money and are spending more and more on goods and services, as is evidenced by retail spend, as is evidenced by the fact that real incomes are going up, as evidenced by the fact that 20% of the top 20% of the population, which is 80% of the spend, is actually doing really, really well, as is evidenced by the Lux labels all doing well in the retail space. And all of that just connects against essentially a 3% inflation rate, which is 100 basis points above where the Fed is aiming to be. And it's really hard. You could make a legitimate argument that we should have flat rates, that we shouldn't be raising rates at all because obviously you want the credit markets to function as well as possible. But it's really hard at this point to make a case for lower credit rates in order to stimulate demand, which is already pretty overheated, against an inflationary pressure that's still very much there, precisely because the monetary stock is quite large. Now today I was also watching Bob, I forgot his name, from Renaissance, and he said that the other interesting thing that's happening is precisely because there's been so much money printing, and because the inflationary pressures are still there, a lot of the flow is going into assets, which is why you're seeing gold, you're seeing equities, seeing everything else rise, because there's, aside from AI, there's just kind of little use for productive assets at this point to be invested. So we'll see. I generally think that Powell is going to reflect this reality, that rates may be fair, but they certainly don't need to come down any further. We'll see what he says. It could be interesting.
But we laid out the trade. This one did not happen. Dovishness does not happen. The one that happened wasn't exactly this. It's I don't think anyone anticipated 0 cents, but 1 descent for no change. And what did it end up doing? It ended up being more bearish for MNQ, ended up being more bearish for gold. We're not seeing huge movements, but we're certainly not seeing NASDAQ really rally or MNQ or gold really rally. And it's mildly positive. It's positive for the dollar, but clearly the market's still kind of in freeze mode, waiting for Powell. So I think we may get a second move at 2:30. But at least you understood where the opportunities are. When it comes to, day trading the move, we had the initial reaction off of the 1 descent lead to a drop in gold. And right now, gold's kind of consolidating. I don't really think it's going to break the higher or low of this 5-minute news candle before Powell, but you never know. But I would still be a seller of gold and a seller of NASDAQ going into Powell's testimony. Currencies itself is frozen. We're getting like the 3-pip move in dollar. That's barely moved. Euro hasn't done anything. It seems like we have a little bit movement in NASDAQ and gold.
Yeah, and even gold has compressed a lot. There's an interesting comment by Crazy Wally that one play could be here that, obviously the big negative economic overhang is the shutdown. The government is 25% of the U.S. economy. They're both playing very much bad hardball. They're literally not providing food stamps to people or salaries to transportation to the people who basically run our airports, which is just insane in terms of irresponsibility. And I wonder if Powell could simply, somebody Crazy Wall is making the case that Powell could say, we're not going to cut rates at all until the federal government comes back. And that would be an interesting bluff on both sides. Well, I don't think he's going to be that blunt about it, but he certainly could create a greater amount of pressure. I do think that as we enter the month of November, the amount of rhetoric and news and oxygen that the shutdown story is going to gather, it will be enormous because you're going to see some incredibly painful human costs. I think the people are going to find it utterly unacceptable. So we'll see what's going on.
Yeah. So hopefully you guys got a really, really good sense of why it's important to know what to watch for, because I know many people were not watching for the descent. I mean, how many of you had no idea that the descent was really the key? Give me a question mark if you did not know that the thing to watch for was the number of Fed presidents dissenting from the actual move, because we all knew it was going to be 25 basis points. But if you learned something, you didn't know that dissent was to watch, please let me know that I'm doing my job and getting you guys prepared for moves like this. Now, we may not always have big moves, but at least you knew what to look for before the event. And you knew that, we looked at the further descent, we saw Mirren, we were surprised by Schmidt's vote for no change. That was the only surprise in today's statement. And that now, stocks are leaning a little heavy, gold is leaning a little heavy, dollars, kind of moving a little bit, but not really. But that's, and that's what I love, Corey. I love that, I love that you admit it. I love that, you're not sure, because you are probably vocalizing what pretty much, many people today did not know. But yes. And yes, Fred, you watched my YouTube from this morning, so you knew, but I want to get all of you prepared for what's to be watched for. Boris, do you want to talk for a minute, and I'll tell them about 2:30?
Sorry?
Do you want to share something before I tell them about 2:30?
Yeah. I want to share, when Kathy was talking about being prepared, I just want you to, show you, this is her saying, listen, I think it's dollar bullish. Gold is rallying, and I just basically said, she's right. I took the trade here. It was literally a 5-second trade. Boom, 20 points in gold. If you had a mini contract, it's $200 on a trade that was just really easy off of the analysis that Kay provided. I just wanted to kind of show you how you can actually take these ideas and make them to trades. And furthermore, what you're seeing now, as Kathy was saying, that this is dollar bullish. It's obviously anything dollar bullish is gold bearish. You're starting to see gold now using our technical indicator start printing not even just red but purple bars, which is uber selling bars. So it's super interesting to see. You can totally understand how the fundamental interpretation translates itself into some technical signals.
Yeah, I was gonna put the music up, because we all know, that fundamentals rock, and fundamentals is what matters. All right, I'm not going to torture you with this, but
no. I make them dance to it for like 2 minutes. They love it. Don't worry.
But I think it's a testament to the how important fundamentals is, and how important it is to be prepared and know. And basically, my point, I have a hard time vocalizing this, but what I'm trying to say is that you will be ready to act immediately when you know how to each outcome could impact the trade. So if you have the opportunity to think about it, to talk about it with me, to prepare your game plan. Then when it comes out, the event risk, and it may be FOMC, may it be non-farm payrolls, inflation, like as soon you know exactly what to look for, and then you're ready to pounce on the trade. That's really what I am trying to say when I say the markets reward the prepared. By the way, Boris is trading his Apex trading account. I want to take this. This is Apex, right, Boris?
Yeah. It's trading view on my Apex account. Yes.
I want to take this opportunity to just share because we have a lot of questions about our favorite brokers and prop firms, and Apex Trader Funding is our favorite broker. They no longer have 80% off. This is dated, but I think it's probably 50% off right now. BK Save will always get you the best discount for your prop trading account. Think Capital right now. Actually, if you use BK Save, you'll get 25% off. If you are looking for a CFD Forex prop firm, they are broker backed, so they will give you 25% off if you use our code. And Axie Select, if you are outside the US and you want to get free trader funding, they've got a fantastic program. And of course, our favorite Forex CFD broker is ACAP. So all of the details for each of these firms are in the description of the video, in my bio on X. Check that out. Now, as you're mulling on this, let's talk about 2:30. Let's talk about, we are 15 minutes away from 2:30. We laid out the game plan for 2 o'clock. What's going to happen at 2:30? Well, Powell has already, obviously written his whole speech. So Powell's written his whole speech, and he is at 2:30 exactly. He releases his entire speech. So at 2:30, you're going to see all the headlines come out where he releases this entire speech to the press. And then he reads it. He reads the speech. And after he reads the speech, they open up the door for questioning, or floor for questioning by press. So let's kind of break this down. I'm going to share with you my chart. Hold on. I'm going to remove this from the screen. I'm going to share my chart with you. And what I'm going to share with you is, and remember, all those links are in the description of this video. Boris, you can also pop this link into the chat, because that will also have all the links. So okay. We got this already, right? We are going to delete this. We're going to play our game plan for 2:30. 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Instantly, we are going to get the Powell's, let's shift this over, comments are out. Then for about 10 minutes, he will speak and read his comment, his write-up, whatever you want to call it. By 2:45, 40 or so, the press will ask questions. And of course, usually the most important questions that are being asked will be the first 3 or 4 questions. And of course, the most important question to ask is, are you going to do another interest rate cut in December? Are you going to do 50 basis points? They're probably going to ask about whether the lack of economic data from the government shutdown is going to affect the decision. They may even ask, how they see the whole government shutdown, whatever it is. Usually by 2:45, the latest 2:50, we will know exactly what they want to say. So right now we're at 217. There's no more trading. You should no longer be looking to sell the NASDAQ, even though, you know, we sold the NASDAQ. It looked it to the downside. It looked good. Right now, it's not time to trade. We're 15 minutes to Powell's speech. Everyone is zeroing in on Powell's speech, and there's no additional trading opportunities from there. So instead, what you should be doing is you should be waiting. You should be waiting for the press conference at 2:30. And then, you know, once you wait for the press conference at 2:30, let's take a look together. Just give me 1 second. Let's take a look together what all of this means for the Federal Reserve rate decision. So let's go to the last one. The last one was in September, right? So we're going to go to September, like 17 was the last Fed meeting. And we're going to go to September. So actually, let's change this to like 16 and 18. All right. So this is, I don't know what happened here, but let me go back to there.
Okay, do you want to look at the red line of the statement? I have that as well.
Oh, yeah, we did that already. We scanned that really quickly. Here we go. All right, wonderful. This is obviously the Fed rate decision. All this craziness, right? Look at all this craziness on the 5-minute chart. And, you know, you can see that this is the 2 o'clock rate decision right here. This is the 2:45 press conference right over here. And, you know, sorry, 2:30 press conference, 2:30 press conference. Where is it? 2:30 press conference right over here, which is this giant red candle. And this is right when I said, you know, 2:45, 2:50, the bottom in NASDAQ, because whatever he said, you know, triggered. This is the time. Do not trade over here. 2:50, 2:45, 2:50 is when he's going to be saying anything that's important that he's going to say. So then it becomes the real move of the day. Clearly, you know, at the time he was, you know, said that this is the beginning of more interest rate cuts, more need to be done. They need to drop their neutral bias, and so stocks started to soar. Now, you may have no idea. You know, I have no idea what's going on. You know, I don't know if his comments were hawkish or not hawkish. Maybe you knew that they were dovish this day, and you jumped in on the stock market rally. But let's say you have no idea. Let's say you have no idea what's going on. So if you have no idea what's going on, I always tell traders the best thing to do is to kind of like isolate the highs and the lows of the news candle. Isolate the high and isolate the low. And then basically wait for one to break. So clearly one broke at 325. But just because it breaks at 325 doesn't mean that it's time to get into the trade. Because remember, we're moving into the close. So we're moving into the close. So instead, you want it to break and then retest. Break, retest, the second break. Now I and my traders, we're going to be coming in at the Asia Open, which is 8 o'clock New York time. You may or may not know, depending upon whether you're new to our stream or not, that I trade in the early New York Open, the Asia Open. So we're going to be coming in this period here. And we're coming in this period and riding the same move that happened before up here in NASDAQ. And you can also see that in gold. If we look at gold, you see a similar movement. Like, how are we going to trade this 230 outcome? So, you know, 230 outcome, all this craziness that's happening. This is the craziness that you want to avoid. This is the 2 p.m. This is the press conference ending. And you know, look, NASDAQ and gold are moving in the same direction. So if you got a long NASDAQ trade, you got a long gold trade, you're in the same trade. So just pick one. You know, when we have a, it's just going to move in the same direction. So in this case, you know, same thing. You can wait for, we actually didn't have a breakout in any of this until the London session over here. We broke this level. But when we did break this level here, it did become, you know, very, very meaningful. The news candles, it did become a very, very meaningful move lower. And then lastly, in dollar yen, let's look at it as well. Now, of course, we have a less dovish outcome. So a less dovish outcome, we'll talk about that in a minute, about what it means for your trades. But here, you see that we sold off initially at the rate decision, and this one actually happens faster. It began to move upwards. We broke above where it was before the news. So this is where it was before the news. We broke above where it's before the news. So you can either get long, or the better trade is to wait for a drop, hold the breakout, and then ride the move. But if you traded at 8 o'clock with me, we would have gotten in somewhere around here. Wait, let me point somewhere around here for a continuation move. Relatively stressless, very mild pullback, less than 10-point continuation move going into the Asia session. So it's different times of the day that you can put in your trade. However, what I wanted to say was that the statement was less dovish. So remember, the statement is less dovish, which means that it's negative for stock indices like NQ. It's negative for gold, and it's positive for the dollar. Unfortunately, my Forex trader friends, dollar is frozen. Dollar Swiss is still at 72. And, euro dollar hasn't moved at all, but, stock futures have moved a lot. And, gold, if we go back to gold in a second, we'll take a look. Let me see if I can copy this so that we don't lose it when we look at what gold and NASDAQ is doing. So we're going to do this. We're going to go to today. We're going to paste this thing that I just, there we go. And you can see, stocks are trading heavy. They're moving down. Gold is moving down. So if Powell reinforces this and he's wishy-washy, then it's going to be more of this. Stock weakness, gold weakness, dollar strength. However, if he says we cut interest rates by 25 basis points, this is all the problems wrong with the U.S. economy. These are all the things to be worried about. This is all the trouble the government shutdown is going to bring us. This is all the trouble the tariffs are going to bring us. And he sounds completely worried about everything. Then the moves we'll see in today may actually reverse. And we may actually see gold rally, the dollar pull back, the stock market rally as well. So it's going to be all up to him. But, we won't know until not at 2:30. We won't know until about 2:45, 2:50 is when we're really going to know what it's going to be like. So Boris is going to ride you guys into trading that session. Any questions for me? My traders are going to come and trade with me at 8 o'clock because we're going to be disciplined. We're going to always stick to the times that we trade. But for those of you that want to trade this, Boris is going to roll into trading the futures accounts in just about 5 minutes. Got some questions.
Right. We're gonna be undisciplined, and we're gonna degen, and we're gonna trade, and we're gonna YOLO. No, we're not gonna do any of those things, but we're gonna have a good time.
Yes. And then of course, not tomorrow, but the day after, which is going to be Thursday so going to be Friday in Asia and Thursday evening in New York, we're going to get the Trump-Xi meeting. So that's going to be very, very exciting as well. So if you enjoyed this session, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you found this valuable. And also, don't forget to check out, got some, great offers by Apex is no longer 80%. I missed that. They're at 50% right now, but you'll still get the best discount ever with our codes. And, any questions about the partners, you can always feel free to email me at Kathy@bktraders.com. Think Capital is a brand new, we've had this partnership for a while, but we're really getting a lot of questions from US traders on how to trade Forex CFD prop. So this is the one that you want to trade with.
All right. Hey, guys. Yes. So these are the discounts, guys. Be sure to get the link. The links are in the comments and in the link tree, in the comments of the video. As a matter of fact, let me put the Kathy's links right now into, just one sec. Text. Let me put that into the room so you guys can actually click the link.
They're telling us that we should copyright this music. I don't even know how any of that stuff works.
It's copyrightable by the very fact that we produced. It's in our library. But maybe I don't even know because it's AI, so I don't know what the rules are on AI.
Neither do I. All right. I'll let you rock and roll, Boris.
Thank you, Kay. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get into the game here. It's the picture of Washington, 2:30 the presser, about 5 minutes to go.
We should send this. We should send this to our members for us. I'll figure out a way.
Okay, so, yeah, we'll post it out. We have it. We have it.
Okay, let me shut this up for a while. Charles is asking a question about what is this 100% free funding outside of the U.S.? It's really fantastic, Charles. I mean, you're talking about Axie Select. It's unfortunately not available for Americans. Axie is a broker. It's one of the biggest brokers in Australia. They created a trader funding program. So basically what it is, there's very little rules. The only rule is don't lose more than 10% of your account. So there's no daily drawdown. There's no news trading restrictions. There's no high water marks, none of that. And so you basically deposit $500 into an Axie Select broker account, and then you trade, and then you get something called an edge score, which is really cool because it teaches you what you're doing well, what you're not doing well, whether it's risk management or over trading. It tells you the areas that you can improve. And once you hit a certain edge score, you get funded. They start giving you certain amounts of funding, and we've got traders that have been funded for as much as $1 million with only like a $550 balance in their own account. It is a longer process than Apex and Think Capital, but it's also a broker account, which means that you can trade it in a more relaxed way. And you don't have to worry about, all of the things that you worry about in prop itself. So definitely check it out in my links on Linktree. Otherwise, Boris, you're on.
All right. Thank you, Kay. Thank you very much. All right, let's get into the game, guys, because I did so many interesting things overnight. I'm going to walk you through some of the setups that we're about to take. We are probably not going to do anything for the first 10, 15 minutes. I'm not even going to bother turning on Jerome. If he says anything interesting, we'll scan the Twitter feeds and see what it goes. Because much more interesting to me is to teach you the price action that is embedded in the indicator that we use. I also, by the way, I don't know. Do you guys hear the ringing? Does anybody hear the ringing? Does you guys anybody hear the buzzing? Yes or no? Just give me a yes or no. I'm just curious. Because I have alerts coming off the indicator now. I'm just curious if you guys hear the alerts. You definitely see the alert popping up. Well, you don't see it because it's in the comments. Okay, hold on. Let me get rid of this. Wait, where's the comments? I want to get rid of this. What happened to my? Oh, here it is. Oh, yeah, you see like right over here. Okay, now you guys don't hear it. Okay, so because I thought maybe you might hear it as a background on my mic. Okay, no biggie. Here's what I want to do. There's a lot of new people probably in the room. I want to kind of walk you through first and foremost, what is it that you're looking at here? You're looking at my proprietary DOTS indicator, which is a trend-based scalp indicator that we use all day, every day. And right now it's pointing to gold, but it's also written for wealth charts in NASDAQ over here. And, of course, we also have it in MetaTrader 5. But we're going to trade gold in Apex. We're going to trade NASDAQ in wealth charts. And I'm going to show you some very, very cool things that I discovered trading last night that's going to give you even better trade setups than you already have at this point. So to those of you who are new, this is a 200-period SMA. This is a 8-period SMA. And the 8-period SMA is changing color. I'm going to put my little magnifying glass here so you can actually see it. You see how the color changes from red to green? Occasionally the color is gray. Gray just simply means neutral. And what the color is telling you is whether the slope of the 8-period SMA, the short-term moving average, is positive or negative. So I'm looking at this right now. What is it? What kind of a slope is it? Is it positive or negative? Type it in the comments for me. Let me know what you guys what you guys think. Clearly, it's red. It's negative, right? So in addition to the slope and the moving averages. If the 8 period is below the 200, generally the big trend is to the downside, but we also have counter trend moves, which we can trade to the upside as well. And then we also have 2 sets of dots, and this is where it gets super interesting for those of you guys that have been with me for a while, and those of you guys who are just interested to get involved. There are 2 types of dots. There's the purple and the reds. Those are negative dots. The purple dot is the earliest possible turn to the downside, and then the red dots is just simply more and more downside signals. And then on the opposite side, we have the white dots and the green dots. And the white dot is the earliest possible turn to the upside, and the green dots is just simply upside moves. Okay. Now here is what I want to show you that I think you guys are going to find it fascinating, right? If you basically look at white dots only, let's just look at white dots only first, right? And you have a sequence of a white dot and a higher white dot. Where's my and a higher white dot right here, right? If I have this and this, it's a great buy trade. Conversely, I don't have this right now, so I guess we're going to have to go over here. If I have this in reverse, I think I can flip this over to reverse, right? How do I flip this over? I was able to do this before. Okay, let me delete this. If I have it to the downside, one of the most interesting signals here is purple dot, lower purple dot over here, right? So if I go over here, great sell signal, right? So I was playing around with this, and for this is generally a signal for like kind of swing trades, for trades for more than just scalps. I was playing around with this idea for trades that were much larger, 10 points, 15 points in size. I can't trade that at all. You guys know I'm completely incapable of holding on to trades for a longer period of time. And I got really pissed off because I had a great trade. It was like, I had 8 points in the money, then it completely reversed and stopped me out. I got really pissed and I got really annoyed. I'm like, I'm never doing this again. I hate this stuff, blah, blah, blah. But then in the middle of the night, I realized, oh my God, not only can I use this for swing signals, I can actually use this for scalp signals. This is a great setup for a 2 and 6, 2 points forward with a 6 stop, which is what we use in our scalps all the time. And conversely, this does the same thing to the downside. So in addition to all the other, breakout interesting ideas that we have, this is one of them is super simple to do and is also obviously super easy to see on both wealth charts and on trading view. So you don't have to, for example, white dot, boom, baby, right? White dot, boom. Powell is coming out and it's doing something negative because we're just diving over here. So let's see what's going on over here. What's going on over here? Where are we? Powell, reasonable base case is short-lived terrorist inflation. Near-term expectations.
All right, I had to come on. I left the StreamYard. I came back on. I mean, look at this, baby. Look at this move in the NASDAQ.
Yeah.
I mean, it's exactly what, we have been talking about all morning. The sell-off of the NASDAQ, or not morning, just talking about as we lay up the trade. The sell-off of the NASDAQ, the sell-off that you're also seeing in gold all around. And we are seeing finally currencies move. We're finally seeing euro dollar sell off. We're finally seeing dollar yen, dollar Swiss rally on this less dovish outcome. So hopefully you guys made some money on this by learning how to be prepared. And I just had to come on to pat myself on the back for this move. But what is he saying, Boris? He's saying that rate cut.
Saying that inflation. He's just saying inflation is here to stay, and he's
no. The money line is that he said point blank. Rate cut is far from foregone conclusion.
Yeah, exactly. He was saying what I was saying. Yeah, right here, right
but
here.
But this is the money line. This is the money line that's driving the markets. And hopefully you guys were prepared to ride this move.
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm gonna say goodbye.
Okay. You come back anytime if you like. No problem. Thank you. So look what we're getting. We're getting a negative setup in our NASDAQ. We're getting what's called a purple dot setup, which is a great setup for us. We're going to go to our wealth charts right now, and as long as this stays here, I actually want to make sure that you guys see it. We're going to trade this with a 40, it's a $10, $30 stop, so it's a 41.20 structure. Nasdaq is of course notorious for retracing, so hopefully we're not going to get too much of a retrace, but we're going to give this a shot. We're going to sell this. Well, let's see. We got to make sure this thing holds, doesn't come back up. If the red dot disappears, we got no trade. So this is very, very volatile, very volatile. 5 seconds left on the clock. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1. Okay, we're short. We're short this trade. Generally, and we're good, and we made money. You see that? Boom, boom, 10 points, super easy scalp. Everybody can see that, nice and easy. So that worked out exactly like a charm. This was the trade we trade. A purple candle is what we call a pull away candle. That's a mega sell or a mega buy, because the price action is pulled away from the moving average and it's closing at fresh lows. And of course, it was all completely supported by a very hawkish statement by Fed. So, you know, pretty obvious. I mean, you guys heard me in the pre-market. If you sort of took I don't trade my own opinion, but if you traded my opinion, you would have done very well, because I said that the chances of them being hawkish, them being dovish, are much greater, because there's just little reason to want to cut rates anymore. It's not a foregone conclusion, and I think that's a very important point. I think the Fed is done. So we'll see how much more downside action there is. Can we take out 26,000? Probably. We'll see if the market wants to come in and sell hard. Nasdaq seems to be a great trade right now for us. Let's see gold. Gold is reacting negatively, but not as much. And so I think we're going to focus on Nasdaq right now for the time being, as far as the ability for us to trade. Now, do I want to press this trade again into the market? Yes, I do. 18 seconds left. As long as this purple stays in place, we're going to see if we can try and press it again, see if we can push it down a little bit more. My only big problem is this is so volatile. Usually I like to do an average into a trade, but I don't necessarily know if I'm going to be able to get positioned into retrace. 80, where am I? 86. Oh, it's really moving. 90. I can't even tell. No, I'm going to get stopped out on a retrace here. These are such volatile markets. Oh, and I'm short here, and we're done. Right? And I'm done on everything. Right. Flatten and cancel. Let's just get out of this whole thing. This is just incredible amount of volatility. So I had to just basically clean myself up on all these trades and get myself done. This was the account. As you can see, all my accounts are green except just this one. This is the only account that I'm basically trying to get back to flat green. So that's what I'm working on. We're going to work the 22 account, but there's so much volatility here that using a 30 stop was probably too little, because Nasdaq is just so crazily volatile. But still, we managed to take the trade and scalp some money out of it. It definitely dropped like a stone over here on the move. Do you want me to listen to what he's saying? I wonder. I wonder if you can put captions. Oh, yeah, you guys can see the captions, so we can see it. So you can see Nasdaq is definitely moving down. But let's see here. What's interesting is we're going to make fresh lows. My key thing is I'm going to take out 2,600. That's going to be the line here. I think it's going to be of interest for us. Uh, we missed the trade in gold. Gold gave us a nice purple sell that would have been very good. Right now, we're too late, so we don't take it. All right. Nothing bores me to death more than Powell talking. But yeah, that's great. That's great. Crazy Wally is killing it on gold. Yes, I agree that that's gonna sting a little bit. If you're looking at gold right now, I think it's very reasonable. You know, the Maginot lines. If you guys are sort of looking for a key lines to break, the first line, of course, is this 39.50, which I think we're probably going to break. The next one, though, I think is more interesting, is the 3900, which I think we're going to break too. So let's watch the price action. What's really cool, though, is if we get a turn, the dots are going to show us the turn. We're going to be able to trade the turn on the dots, meaning that we're going to get higher highs on the whites. That's going to give us the perfect setup for the long side. Or if I get a purple dot over here, somewhere in this zone over here, that's going to be a perfect short. That combo of lower lows on the purples, higher highs on the whites is such an easy combo to trade, right? Such an easy combo to trade. So we're getting the first white dot. Now, there are a lot of guys in the room who love to trade retrace trades, right? And so I'm going to show you, I'm going to share with you what I've been doing as far as retrace. I really hate this trade. I'm like, it's just not my kind of trade, but it definitely works. So I'm going to show it to you on gold if we get it. And what the retrace trade is the following. It's a white dot trade that comes off the low. So remember, if you get a white dot over here, it's way, way below this one, right? So it's a lower white dot. It's a great, like if you look at this is a lower white dot than this one, right? You can see it. You can see this one is much lower than, where's my freaking thing, than this white dot, right? See that? You guys see that this is much lower? So shorting the top is such a good trade. It's like usually always an excellent trade. This, on the other hand, is a higher white dot. So going long here definitely works. Obviously, the more differential you have, like the greater the differential, in this case, differential between here and here is pretty large. That makes it much easier to have confidence on the retrace trade. So using our technology and techniques, we can have a lot of fun both on momentum trades and on retrace trades. So we've got 40 seconds to go. I'm going to trade this retrace trade with you. Let's see if I don't get stuffed. If I get stuffed, I get stuffed. I really don't care. But I want to show it to you. 32 seconds left. We're obviously going to wait till the candle closes before I pull the trigger on whether this is a retrace trade. Generally, I like to trade one, and then if I have to, I add a second one 2 points up. But the markets are so fast, I don't know if I'm going to get a chance. I got to put my glasses on because I got to get serious now and be able to see what I'm doing. 13, 14 seconds left. Does the white dot hold? We also need the white dot to hold because if the thing disappears, it's not a signal. So really got to be patient here. At 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, kind of dropping. We're losing the dot. That's why I didn't pull the trigger. We lost the dot. We couldn't even get the retrace. You could have just simply shorted that. We couldn't even get the freaking retrace on this thing. It just kind of died out, right? So super interesting. By the way, if you see, you're not seeing it in the corner of the eye because you're seeing the things. I'm going to leave. I'm going to put no comments on here for a little while, so you guys can actually see the alerts pop up. I put in all the alerts. I will update the. I'm just testing to make sure that the alerts are working properly. But the purple dots, the white dots, everything that you guys asked me for, I put in there as an indicator. Who wants to know how to get the indicator? If you want to know to get the indicator, this is the link. You simply sign up for my coaching. Coaching is tomorrow. 2 things, by the way. Coaching tomorrow, 7:30, and marathon trade, 8 o'clock. At 8, post-Fed is usually a great day to trade in the markets. We're going to have 8 p.m. to like 11 o'clock. We're gonna go nuts and just marathon trade the market. So we'll see how it goes. It's a bummer that we couldn't get the retrace trade over here, huh? Okay, let's see what the Nasdaq is doing. Nasdaq is also obviously negative. NASDAQ also obviously susceptible to or possible to have a retrace trade here. If you get a white dot, this is a white dot that's on a much lower plane than the prior white dots that want to short it. But we'll see how it goes. So far, everything is kind of stalled. What is Jerome saying today? Labor market is hi, Pam. Great question. I meant to answer you. I just haven't had a chance yet. No, you need to sign up. Here's what happens. If you're a monthly membership, if you upgrade to coaching, I will refund you your last month's payment, so you don't have to pay anything for the last month. You get a bonus in terms of coming in. You get 6 months of membership. You get the indicator, and I will give you credit. In addition to that, I will give you credit to buy Apex accounts. So it's a really, really good deal. Clearly, I'm trying to incentivize everybody to come into coaching because that's the only way you really learn how to trade with me. So if you want to do that, just email me a note, sign up. Just sign up, and I'll take care of everything on the back end. And that goes true for anybody else and everybody else who's interested in doing that. All right, the reserves balance sheet. Let's see what he's talking about. I can't. So he's saying they want to get shorter duration on the Fed on the balance sheet. Oh, here we go. Mute her. Okay, so this is an interesting setup in Nasdaq, right? It's a white dot. It's a white candle. It's a pull away candle, but it's coming in from very, very far lows. And to me, this is probably a better retrace trade than it would be a continuation trade, meaning it's better sell than it is a buy. So let's see. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait till this candle closes. Candle's popping. $1.07 on the clock. So we're not going to move until this may not even hold, as it often doesn't. Let's see what it wants to do here. 54 seconds. 44 seconds. All right, we can switch over to wealth charts and see if this white dot holds. We're obviously going to try and sell this on the close. It's 32 seconds left on the clock. 23, 22. It's really exploding now. Wow. All right, I'm going to sell this here. This is a very, very volatile candle. So I have probably not enough stop to make it work. I'm not going to add to this position. It's either going to work or I'm going to get stuffed. Looks like I'm going to get stuffed because this is a big up move here. That's fine. Let's. All right, I'm just going to flatten myself out because it was very, very volatile trade. Just a tiny, tiny bit of P&L because I had a feeling it was going to run away. This was a toss up. This is a kind of a tough toss up because you're obviously heavily oversold. This is a clean counter trend pull away candle. You could have traded both sides. Actually, if you traded either way, to the upside or to the downside, you kind of made money. But I sort of stayed true to the short side for the time being. Let's see if the market kind of held in front of the 26,000, which if it did, pretty positive. Gold also similar kind of a story. Gold, by the way, would have been a very clean sell here. See this white retrace candle? It was a very, very clean sell against this. This would have been a little tough. 63 against, no, this you would have been stuffed here. You see this purple dot? This has been the first miss of the day. And that's because you obviously had post-event volatility. You see this? If you took the short over here, because it was a lower purple, you kind of sold right into the bottom over here. And that seems to be the story right now. Remember I said 50 was going to be the key level. Right now we're basically bouncing all against this. And if we're going the other way, then we're going to reorient ourselves. If they're finding support here, we're going to reorient ourselves this way. Yeah, big candle was definitely a warning. Oh, hey Jerry, yes, you're on the list. I emailed you back everything. Yeah, so Andy, you're right. I have Andy saying, I'm showing a white candle in the counter trend move. I have the trend filter turned off, and the reason why I have it turned off was because look how cute this is. TradingView now has like a little alert thing on here, telling me that alerts are up. I just basically want to have both. I want I want as many signals as possible so I can read the chart and make as many trades as possible on a short-term basis. But you're right. If we're sort of trading very, very conservatively, we should only be trading the purple candles, which is the downtrend candles. These are the counter trend upside candles. Notice, by the way, gold holding bid here. It's really interesting. Certainly, if in the next 3 or 4 candles I get a white dot candle, that's got to be a buy. That's got to be a nice looking buy. I definitely want to be there for that. Look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq completely reversed. Like nobody really cares. It's really amazing. Nobody cares that he's going to stop rate cuts. We seem to be really holding bid here. I know what else he's talking. What is he talking about here? Interesting. He says that they're using other techniques to get government data. Oh, this is how you flip it. I just realized this. Oh, like that. Oh. All right, this is a pull away candle to the upside. Now we want to go to the long side. He's talking about the fact that, you know, no data makes him hesitant to want to do anything. All right, I'm going to try to go long this thing with 3-4 seconds left. I'm in the candle. So where am I in? What's my price? Oh God, where am I in? It's 84. I want to be at 82. I'll just buy one more. All right, I'm bought one more, and let's see if I can sell this on a. Now doesn't look like it's gonna retrace on me, but whatever. It's a very, very, very big candle. It was a 75 to 85 candle. This is everything you shouldn't be doing. But I'm, you know, we have like no trades, so I'm kind of bored, and I'm just laying down trade ideas with you that are by no means good quality trades, but not horrendous. They're just simply super, super volatile. So it's just really a question of, do I survive volatility or I don't survive volatility, right? I'm going to explain this as it, and I managed to survive volatility. So what did I do in this trade? Like, what is my bread and butter trade? My bread and butter trade is, let me do this slowly with you guys in settings. So my bread and butter trade is, I guess you can't even see it over here, is maybe I go to the 1 minute chart. You can, I wonder if you can see it. Yeah. So on the 1 minute chart, what you see me doing is I buy the 84s, right? I buy the 84s. That's the close of the candle. Then I buy a second position 2 points down at 82s, right? Everything stays at -6. So the last lot only becomes -4 instead of -6. That's it. That's you know, my stop remains hard. And then you're simply hoping that it survives the volatility and goes back to the original entry. That's all you need. It went past the original entry on the vol side. But generally, this 1-2 structure really helps me even out and balance out my risk most of the time, so that I can almost always resolve myself out of a situation. But occasionally you're going to get clipped, especially when you have lots and lots of volatility. Just got very lucky that I was able to survive the volatility and made the trade. But overall, the reason for this trade, this is a pull away white trade, meaning, you know, candle is so strong that it's showing you forward size momentum. And it's clearly what we're seeing here is that the market, after selling off, basically doesn't give a shit and just decided, let's go back to the, you know, to our original thing. Now it's 3 o'clock, so the story is not over, and we could easily have a second reversal here. So don't get all complacent about the fact that this is a you know, positive market move, but it's definitely looking, you know, better than not. I'm going to get rid of the execution marks and get myself organized here. Okay, any questions, guys? Everybody kind of following me along here? Are you vibing what I'm showing you? Let me just pull up the YouTube account so I can actually see you guys on YouTube. There's this. And okay, I'm muted. Why do some candles going down appear green? Because of the way I color the candles. The indicator basically assigns a green color to anything above the moving average, and a red one anything below the moving average. So we do this precisely so you don't get swayed by the change in color, in candle color. In other words, I want the candle color to be monochromatic, so that you're not going, oh, you know, it's an uptrend, but the candle is going down. I want to short this candle. That's not how you want to be thinking about it. But hey, look what we got. Look what we got. We got a double purple to the sell side. Do we want to sell it? You bet your bottom dollar we want to sell this. For sell. All right, we're going to sell this, and shit. Okay, at 79, I want to be at 81. It's okay, good. I didn't have to adjust. You see how cool that is? You guys really fucking appreciating how cool this trade is? The double purple, the lower purple, the higher white. That is just money today. It's just been money. I'm talking about like 9 out of 10 money. You know, so much money that you virtually can't lose scalping it. Now, obviously, this could also be a beautiful positional trade, right? If you're short here with a stop over here, you might be able to squeeze 10 points out of it if you have the personality and the patience to do that. I don't, but I found a way to make money out of this thing. John Price, thank you. I'm glad you learned something while making some. That's the whole point. The whole point of our existence is for you to make money while we learn something. Yep, crazy wall. I took that sell beautiful, right? That was just a super, super easy slide. It was super easy. Very nice. Yeah, so let's see what NAS is doing for us. Right, NAS has had the moves. Let's see what NAS wants to pull. Let me also see. Let's come back to the presser and see if there's anything something like that. Let me just. I just realized that I'm going to play Jerome Powell press conferences anytime I have insomnia. This is like the greatest. I'm ready for a nap as I'm listening to him. Like literally the greatest tool for insomnia you can possibly imagine. People are asking how to sign up. Let me put the link for you guys. Remember, if you sign up, I will buy you free accounts in Apex. Here's the link. 6 months of coaching, you get everything, indicator, everything, and I'll buy you the account. Thank you, Wally. That's interesting. So Powell is basically saying, listen, the labor situation. Oh, we missed the purple trade on the Dow on Nasdaq. Sorry, guys, but that's fine. We can't hit them all. But like again, same setup. Purple would have been a clean sell. 34 to 24 would have been an easy sell. I'm sorry I missed that, but I was talking about it. So no, I can't buy you 3 accounts. I can only buy you whatever $97 buys. Probably 2 accounts at this point. Okay. The amount of accounts I can buy you is a function of how much discount Apex is willing to do. If you wait a little bit and they go back to 80, you can buy more accounts. So the deal is not the deal is I buy you free accounts. How many depends on Apex. Karaoke. That's a little bit proprietary as to what makes the purple dot, but just understand the purple dot is the first negative turn in the move. The white dot is the first positive turn in the move. Okay, those are the big indications. Okay, so this is when you get a combination of like purple to purple, you have basically lower highs in the first turn moves. That's what gives you the confidence that you have some continuity. That's what makes it work. That's really cool. But guys, we're holding. Remember, I said what I put over here. I said that we're gonna. It's this one. I said we're gonna hold the 26s. We're holding the 26s, and in gold, we're holding at the 39.50s. Let's see where we go here. If I get a white dot over here, guys. Let's say I have a white dot over here. I'm gonna do a Kathy. Let's play Kathy. Can I do this? Oh, look how cool this is. I can flip this over. I learned a new trick. I love learning new tricks. I'm like a monkey on the spread. Look at that. And look, I got a white dot. That is a buy signal for me. Let's see if this, we've got to wait to make sure the dot holds. The dot's got to stick, right? It's only a white dot if the candle closes, It's like, it's only a deal if you get paid, right? Well, let's see what we want to do here. 27 seconds left. I'm waiting for the candle to hold. And don't be surprised if it goes away, because the markets are still jittery as fuck. And they're still very, very, very nervous about all of this. 6, 7 seconds. I'm waiting until the candle closes before I pull the trigger here because I don't want to be faked out. All right, I'm long. I'm long on this thing. I'm in at, like, where am I? 79. I want to be 77.7 on the second bid. This is my second bid on the things. I move my farthest stop to my near stop, and that's it. And then we got a second stop, and now I'm just going to try to see if I can work this out. If this is going to come back up to even me out. Let's see if I can even me out here. Get bigger on the charts here so you guys can really see it. It's a lot of moves, and maybe it won't, but that's okay. You know, if this setup fails, it's not the end of the world. It's just one of many, but it's 100% legit setup. Higher highs on the whites. I would do it any day. Obviously, we've got a lot of volatility, so you're always going to have two-way trades, especially post-FOMC. So not everything is going to work out if it doesn't. But I'm holding the correct start, the correct stops, the correct targets, the correct plays. Let's see what it wants to do. This is a gold chart. Yes, we're trading gold. Gold is really great instrument. I've been trading gold all day long because that's my favorite instrument these days. Let me see what NASDAQ is doing. NASDAQ is holding bid. NASDAQ is looking pretty positive, strong on the moves here. All right, gold is still holding, but kind of sliding against us. Trying to give this, you know, you got to really zoom in on gold for you guys to see the trades. And we're done. And I held on because I had the faith, and then we were able to resolve. Now, you know, the point is, it's still a jittery spot market. That's why I use a 1-2 structure, because you're not going to get the move. But, you know, we got lucky. This is just, honestly, this was a lucky trade, because this was, you know, if it was a good trade, it would have just simply been straight up. So this was a bad trade that I made the best out of. It's my, you know, let's make lemonade out of lemons trade. And it's great. You know, we took it, we made it. I'm perfectly happy with it. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm definitely not gonna cry about small clips. Thank you so much, Cynthia. Thank you so much. The candle indicator is my proprietary dots indicator, BFF dots, which now has also all the alert functions built into it. You know what gave me a little bit of confidence when I was looking at it was the fact that NAS was holding up, and I felt, oh, you know, if the risk trade and NAS is holding up, maybe we get lucky in gold and they lift it. It was kind of lucky, but still. Anyways, the point is, it's super easy to see where you want to be, right? Higher whites, go to the sky. You know, lower purples, shoot them down. I need to come up with like good rhyming techniques for both of these. Like nothing rhymes with purple. What rhymes with purple? What rhymes with white? Come on, guys. Do I need to write a whole new AI song on this? But basically, it's sell the purple, buy the whites, as long as you get higher highs or lower lows. And it makes it very, very easy to isolate the key points in the price action where you have the easiest thing. By the way, look, now, having tortured us for quite a while, this thing could really start to run, right? And those of you guys who are trading the big trade, who are trading the positional trade, you're in here, stop somewhere around here. You know, now you're finding some breathing space. Maybe it's going to extend all the way up to 4,000, and then you're really golden. You got like a 20-point move here that you know, that I'm never going to take, but that maybe all of you guys will take it. So, white dot high hit the sky. Okay, I like that. Purple dot low, make it glow. Well, that's a little. It could be a little dark if you think about it, right? But I like the mnemonic. It does make you remember it. White dot high hit the sky, purple dot low, make it glow. That's a little dark, but yeah. Anyways, gold doing its thing, Nas doing its thing. Has Jerome wrapped up yet? Is he still bullshitting everybody? Okay, let's see what he's got to say. I need to take a nap. He says supply of workers. Oh, so this is interesting. His whole argument is because of uh, immigration reform and because uh, the slowdown in jobs, there's now actually less need for jobs, and therefore there's less demand. It's less supply workers showing up in jobs. He says the economy grows at 1.6 this year versus 2.4 next year. Moderate pace on the economy. Oh my God. They're all asking the same stupid question. How are you going to make policy without data? And like, what is he supposed to answer? I don't know. How the fuck am I supposed to, answer that? He says basically one day at a time. By the way, look at gold. Gold, starting to extend and expand. Who's long that thing on a more durable basis? Anybody long that gold on a positional basis? Yes, I have not yet issued the new update, the alert update, because I'm testing the updates to make sure that I basically don't release um, garbage to you guys. But yeah, so Daddy Ruville just joined us a few minutes later. Oh, guys, so there's lots of guys in the room who are probably wealth charts um, customers, or who have wealth charts. And if you don't have the indicator on your wealth charts yet, please email me. Please email me today, because we finally set up a system. But if I don't have your email, I'm not going to remember. And if you told me like 3 days ago, it's in the garbage. So as every woman in my life knows, unless you text me the moment you want me to do something, it will be forgotten into the great void beyond. So if you want to be successful in getting Boris to do anything, you email him right now, and then I will inform wealth charts to light you guys up on the dots indicator if you are if you're on the wealth charts, right? Those of you who use Tradeovate, obviously, if you're part of coaching, you're gonna I'll light you up right away. It's very, very easy for me. If you're not part of coaching, join me. Join me over here. Here's the link. Okay, email me, Jeans, and email me your name, your obviously your name and email, and I will try to have it enabled very, very soon. Oh, we're getting another possible lower purple dot, maybe. Playing around with it. It was showing a little bit of it. But anyways, I'm glad you guys took the turn, because the turn was it was kind of a brutal shift here, but the turn looks like it's a little bit more positive as we've gone forward. Now, let's see what Jerome is saying. Yeah, he's saying the job market is not deteriorating, and everything is steady. So job creation is very low. Layoffs not really showing up in the unemployment data. I'm getting a purple dot up 28 on the clock. So let's see if this holds. I'm going to try and short this. There's my gold Rolexes. She's asking about reappointment of the Federal Reserve Bank board members. All right, we're going to sell gold here. All right, short gold on that purple dot. Okay, out. Nice. Another trade. Thank guys. You guys caught that? Come on, you gotta love the purple dot trades and the white dot trades. I'm doing this against Jerome talking, which like literally puts me to sleep.
You know, overall, it's a good picture. It's a good picture, but in terms of
Then hit it. AP hit it. Good job. Good job. Good job. Pretty easy, right? Pretty easy to see on all the charts. Ingrid, nice job. For those of you guys who are like positionally trading, okay, I gotta. Oh my god, I don't think I've ever been more bored in a press conference. Those of you who are still positionally trading, positional trade would put you in this trade. So let me kind of run you through what for those of you who are not degenerates and not scalping for 2 points, where the possibilities of trades could be. So let's just run this trade over here, hypothetically. So I'm in, what was I in, like around 79, right? I'm in 79. My stop on this white would be at around 62, right? So that's a 18 point stop. And there's a couple of ways that you could do this, but the way I like to do it is I like to do half my risk as either half exit or just full exit, depending on how risky you are. But if you do half exit, you're coming out 79 to 89, which is right here. So you would have taken half the position off or full position off for a nice clean 9-point move in gold. If you were just doing this like with one contract in gold, right, one mini contract, that's a $900 trade in a matter of 20 minutes with very, very clean entries and very intelligent exits. If you're kind of trying to milk this for longer, maybe you do half exit, and then it becomes very much a matter of style. Now, there's two types of style. One style that says, I'm going to take the trade, get out half, move the stop to break even. I'm never going to give back the profits. The problem with that style, in my opinion, is that you never really get the big trade. If you want the big trade, you got to sacrifice the little trade because the trading gods just don't do runaway trades. They like to tease. They like to go back and forth, back and forth. If there is truly a long run in the gold move, if there's like a 20, 30 point run in the gold move, it will sometimes come back down over here. So a second way of doing it is I take half over here. That means I reduce my risk tremendously. My loss would be very, very small if it does come in. And but I'm holding with a stop over here to give myself breathing room to go higher if indeed it decides to turn and go higher. Now here's where it gets interesting, by the way. You know, we shorted the lower lows, but this is no longer lower lows. This is actually not. Let me see if I can. Oh, I love this. Look how cool this is. Look this around. This is a higher high purple. So therefore, like this is a bullish signal. Like this is not something that is likely to go down a lot. But we'll see. You know, it doesn't always hold up. But generally, what this tells me is that maybe, you know, the selling is kind of going to find support around here, and they're going to re-rally it. So anyways, there's just like a lot of different ways that you could completely analyze and perceive the chart using the dots, both on a more positional basis and of course on a scalp basis, which is the way that I like to trade it as a trade. So a lot of stuff. We did a lot of trades today. We did a lot of gold trades. Did a little bit of Nasdaq trades. Let's see what Nasdaq is doing. Nasdaq is really holding bid. Very impressive. Remember I said to you, you could do retrace trades. You could do retrace trades where, like, if the white was lower than the prior white, you'd sell it. Well, you could do retrace trades on the purple, because look at this. Let me show you. You have a purple here, which is low, and then you have the next purple, which is high, right? You obviously have a higher purple. You guys ever see that? This one is clearly higher, right? So I'm going to get rid of this, get rid of the drawings, just to kind of show you. And you could do a really cool trade where, so you're over here. Obviously, you see this is a higher purple, right? Over here. So the really great trade is you buy right the fuck over here. This is a perfect buy. Oops, the wrong one. Oh, but I can do this. Look at that. You buy this. You buy the retrace. Look at that incredible entry over here. You're in at 74. We're at 32 already. You could have gotten yourself. Those of you guys who like to be retrace traders, not my preferred style of trading, but a lot of people love that. This is such an intelligent retrace trade, right? As long as you begin to understand what the chart is doing, how the dots are communicating highs, lows, possible support levels, possible, clues to where things are, is something a buy or is something a sell, is very much what the dots tell you. And they tell you that very accurately many, many times a day. So that's a really cool looking trade, right? Nico, you said you were greedy for 3 points. What was this? Yeah. I mean, the slope green is actually even more positive. I mean, remember, this is a higher purple. Like, the thing about this is, like, this eliminates a lot of complexity, right? As long as you have one higher than the other, you have a reasonable chance that this is a really good buy, right? Just like when one is lower than the other, you have a very, very good chance that it's a good sell, right? One is a momentum, one is a retrace, and it's all about the positionality of the candles on the chart, which is really cool, right? I mean, that's something I would have never been able to understand unless I did about 1,000 trades in this week, getting my ass kicked, which we'll talk about that in coaching a lot, but also, funding another account and learning some really interesting nuances about what this really communicates. It's like reading a book. You read it 100 times, you're going to get the much deeper meaning out of it than reading it the first time. Even if I wrote the book, a lot of times you can't read your own book until much later, because your subconscious, is printing ideas that you may not necessarily recognize right away. So I thought this was really, really cool. All right, let's see if he's done. If we're done, yeah, he's done. Okay, I think we're done. We had a very, very good session. I think we killed every trade we could here. I put about $100 on the board in one of the accounts. I flattened the other account. I'll talk about all my accounts. We're going to do marathon tomorrow. We're going to put this in place, right? All this stuff in place. Any other questions for you guys, for me? Do you do live trading every day? You bet you, but baby, I do live trading every day. We do live trading every day on YouTube, 9 o'clock, except when it's marathon days or news days, then we do it 8 o'clock, and except when it's FOMC, then we do it 2 o'clock. So tomorrow, marathon, 8 a.m. in the morning. Be there, be square, guys. I will be doing this with you. And then, of course, coaching is private, and coaching is 7:30 at night. No, excuse me, 7 o'clock at night. 7 o'clock at night, Thursday night. So tomorrow, so if you join coaching with me today, you're going to have access to it tomorrow, and we will discuss all of these things. But hopefully, this really gives you great tools. You know, there's probably about 20 other things inside this indicator that I'm not showing you because it's just overwhelming. But just trading these kind of dot setups and the candle setups really makes it easy to find quality trades, right? Not really, Rick. As I told you, you can if you want to make your life more complicated, but I'm trying to make my life a little bit easier, you know, and you know, do it this way. So I'm not even requiring the slope to match. It helps. It definitely helps. But really, what you're really looking for is the positionality of the sell-off. If the sell-off is coming in from the high, it's probably a good buy. Ooh, I like that. If the sell-off is coming in from a high, it's probably a good buy. If the buy-up is coming in from the low, it's probably too slow. I don't know. It's a no-go. It's a no-go. That's it. That's the summary that we need. Okay, guys. Let me see what gold is doing. Gold is coming back down. Coming, you know, we gave that back. So there was only this much juice in gold. There was like 10 points in that positional trade. And now we're going right back. And we made this is the half hour when usually the shit hits the fan in the markets. Do we test the supports that we talked about? Do we test the 50s? Maybe. You know, let's watch gold. I'll stay with you guys for a few minutes. This was a setup. This was a good, clean trade. I'm just late to the trade. Here's the other thing I was going to tell you. This is the cardinal sin of Boris that should really not be done. Like this goes so much into the do as I say, not as I do book. If you're late to the setup, even by 2 seconds, in other words, the candle is already closed, the price is already set up, you didn't take the trade, but you see it on the chart, you're like, this was a setup. Don't trade it. Don't trade it. Even if it's a winning setup, doesn't matter. Don't trade it. You're always chasing, and if you chase, you lose, right? So don't trade it. Even though this was an obvious sell, would have been a really, really good trade. I was late. Don't do it. If you're not there 30 seconds before the trade sets up, don't fucking trade it. That's my new rule. Don't trade it. Just so you know, we don't do one-on-one mentorship, but you know, it's a small group of coaching, and you can always ask me any questions that you like. We just don't have the time to do one-on-ones, you know, and it would just be prohibitive to do it. So, but yeah, you can, you know, the best thing is to remember you have 6 months of just hanging out with me every single Thursday. That should be enough to get you going. Right. Don't jump on the tracks and chase a departing subway. Exactly. There'll be another one coming down the pipe. Okay. All right, guys. I will explain more trades tomorrow because you know, we got to go. I will see. Look at this. Now look at this. We're starting to really, really unwind the trade. Look at that. How is NASDAQ? Is NASDAQ unwinding too? There we go. Not as much. NASDAQ is really holding much better. It's gold. It's gold that's giving this back because he said no more rate cuts, and gold is already weak. Gold is already, you know, vulnerable to a sell-off. So Asia tonight in gold should be a lot of fun. You guys should have a good time in Asia trying to trade this thing. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. All right. I don't know if NASDAQ is going to roll over, but my bet is gold is going to roll over. Gold is much more vulnerable to roll over. I think gold, like, mark my words, tomorrow morning, let's see how smart I am. I think we break 3,900. I think that's where we're going. Because the underlying message from Jerome was no more fucking rate cuts, as we say in New York. No more rate cuts. Look at that. We took the 150. And I think that's the message to gold. Okay, everybody have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you for hanging out with me. Good session today. I see everybody banking. There's plenty of juice, left in the fruit. We're clearly creating nice sell signals for us on gold at this point. We tested that 50 level. Let's see where it goes from here. But my vibe is that Asia and Europe are going to take this thing down to 3,900. Kind of the hangover from the Fed is that no more, no soup for you. That's the bottom line. No soup for you. That's Jerome in the message today. Thanks, guys. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful night. I will see everybody tomorrow. Marathon, 8 o'clock in the morning. Join me. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.